There is a fine line between a contender and a pretender in the NFL come playoff season. Let's go through all 14 playoff teams and tell you if they're a contender or a pretender this January. The NFC side, there are really only 3 teams that I personally see as contenders. The other 4 are pretenders in my book. Starting off, the winner of the NFC South, whether it's the Panthers or the Bucks, the winner of the NFC South is going to walk in at either 8-9 or 9-8, and I just don't think that is a record. Neither of these teams have like signature wins besides the Rams game and besides the Seahawks game before the Bucks collapse early in the season. These teams can't generate enough offense, and they can't stop a team enough like the Seahawks or the Rams. Even if they've beaten them, I don't trust them in a playoff setting against these teams. You can call me biased all you want, as I am a Detroit Lions fan, but I do not believe the Packers are a contender in the NFC this season. They have been battered by injuries in this back half stretch of the year. The player that made them a contender at the beginning of the year, Micah Parsons, is out. Jordan Love is banged up. Malik Willis now is banged up. So if they have to start Clayton Tune or an injured, like concussed Jordan Love, I don't trust them to win a round 1 playoff game, especially with how injured this defense is. Giving up 41 points to Derrick Henry and Tyler Huntley, who I get are hitting their stride but still have not played well all season, and Huntley is a backup quarterback, I don't think this defense can give them any help in the first round of the playoffs. I'm going to catch a lot of flack for this one, but I don't believe the Philadelphia Eagles are contenders either this year, but here is why. I get it. They're top 3 in opponent points per game. They're giving up less than 20 points a game. I believe it's like 18.8. But what is the issue with them? Same issue they've had all year, their offense. Their offense cannot win them a game in the playoffs, in my opinion. Against the Rams defense, against the Seahawks defense. Granted, maybe they get to the Super Bowl, but if you play the Texans defense or the Broncos defense, you are not going to be able to generate enough offense. With the weapons they have, they should be able to generate offense. All I'm saying is that in a league dominated by the pass game, a team that is bottom 10 in pass yards per game is not going to win the Super Bowl. A lot of my hometown friends are going to hate this, but I do not believe the 49ers are a Super Bowl contender this year either. This 49ers team has been battered by injuries all year, mostly on the defensive side, with some off and on injuries on the offensive side. They can put up points, but they give up a lot of points. They have a chance week 18 to get the 1 seed. Does this sound familiar to anyone else? The 49ers this year are the Lions last year. The 15-2 record, all the hype in the world, the Super Bowl favorite. I'm not saying the 49ers are obviously the Super Bowl favorite, but if they win week 18, I think they very well could be. Obviously, the 49ers are playing the Seahawks this week for the 1 seed, but if the 49ers have to play the Rams or the Seahawks in the playoffs, I just don't think they match up well against a Rams or Seahawks team come playoff time. We'll see this week. I could eat my words. This could flip. I could have the 49ers in the contenders category if they convincingly beat the Seahawks, but as of right now, their defense has too many question marks, and a beat-up defense is a defense that will hurt you in the playoffs. The first contender is the Seattle Seahawks, the current 1 seed, and my pick to have the 1 seed at the end of the year. I think they beat the 49ers this week, but what makes the Seahawks so good? Their defense, complete, not a lot of injuries. Their secondary can be questionable at times, but they do enough. They have a great pass rush. They have great linebackers. This defense can stop you from scoring, and they will stop you from scoring. This offense has had one of the best offensive lines all year when healthy. They have Jackson Smith-Njigba, one of the best receivers in the NFL. They have one of the most underrated tight ends in the NFL. They have one of the most underrated 1-2 punches in the NFL with Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. I'm sorry if you have Kenneth Walker in fantasy. I think this will come down to if Sam Darnold can perform in the playoffs. That is all it is. If Sam Darnold performs in the playoffs, the Seahawks can make it to the Super Bowl and they can win it. Now, what we saw last night on Monday Night Football was not the Falcons beating the Rams, it was the Rams beating the Rams, and that has happened all year. In their 5 losses, they have only lost by 1 score in each of them. 2 of them were blown leads because of self-inflicted wounds, and multiple were on game-winning plays from the other team. The losses to the Panthers and the Falcons were Matthew Stafford's worst games of the year, the only games where he threw more than 1 interception. In my opinion, all 5 of their losses are the Rams beating themselves with bad decisions and just poor play at times. I will give huge credit to the Panthers, Falcons, Seahawks, Eagles, and the 49ers for being the 5 losses that the Rams have had this year. But I think come playoff time, Sean McVay runs a very tight ship, and Matthew Stafford has been here before in their 2021 run. I think the Rams are a big contender this year, being top 10 in offense and top 10 in defense. Probably my most controversial pick of the video. I think the Bears are real contenders in the NFC this year, and here is why. Last year, it felt like the Bears were finding every way to lose games. This year, it feels like the Bears are finding every way to win games. It's a quick flip and a quick turnaround that has been done on the back of Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams making a great year 2 jump. They have a nice backfield that Ben Johnson uses properly. They have weapons that Ben Johnson is able to use properly. Ben Johnson is an offensive genius in the NFL. He's great as a coordinator and he's great as a head coach. He's just a phenomenal play caller all around. And when you have a quarterback like Caleb Williams who can make any throw on the field, he is one of 4 quarterbacks, in my opinion, right now, starting in the NFL, that can make any throw you ask him to. Along with that, he's been given the nickname the Iceman because he has had a lot of clutch moments this year. I think Caleb Williams can pull through in the playoffs. Even though there's a lack of experience there, I trust them to get it done against any of the 4 teams on the other side of this board. And now we're moving on to the AFC side of the playoffs. Starting off, whoever wins the AFC North, whether it be the Steelers or the Ravens, I don't believe either of these teams can win a Super Bowl this year. After the win against the Lions, I was really considering putting the Steelers on the contender side of this board for the fact that I just think Aaron Rodgers is going to put everything he has left in the tank into this playoff run, and I think he could carry this team at 41 years old to the Super Bowl. And then they lost to the Browns last week, and every thought of that was gone in my head. The Steelers seemed more concerned last week with not letting Myles Garrett get the sack record against them than they were about winning the game. There's not a lot of times where you intercept the opposing rookie quarterback 2 times and you can't get enough offense going to win the game. For the Ravens, Lamar Jackson's been playing hurt all year, and you cannot rely on Derrick Henry at 31 years old to consistently get 200 yards and 4 touchdowns a game. That happened because the Packers defense is beat up, and it's the first time they've given him that many carries all year. You're not doing that for the next 4 or 5 games and getting to a Super Bowl that way. The Los Angeles Chargers are also on my list of teams that I do not think will make the Super Bowl this year in the AFC. They have a great record, they have a great coach, they have a great quarterback. There's just too many injuries to this offensive line. Justin Herbert gets sacked a lot. Justin Herbert has to run around and play hero ball, and when he does that, he makes mistakes. This ground game, if you can get it going with a Marion Hampton, can be very good, but it sometimes feels like they don't know what to do. Do they want to pass a lot? Do they want to run a lot? There's times where Hampton has 20 carries in a game, and then the next week Herbert has 40 passing attempts. And in both of those games, they could be winning or losing. They just kind of stick to what they start with on the first drive. The Chargers are obviously battered by injuries. They have a good enough defense, but I don't trust their offense against a defense like the Broncos or the Texans in the playoffs. The Jags are red hot, and they are a team that I actually considered putting on the contenders board. I just think Liam Cohen, being a first-year head coach, is going to hurt them in the playoffs. I think he makes a dumb mistake late in a game that loses them a game, or he makes a 4th down call, or he goes for a field goal, like does something late in a game that loses them the game. The Jaguars have a phenomenal red-hot offense and a very underrated defense in my opinion, but I do not think they stack up well in a second-round matchup against the Patriots, the Broncos, or the Texans. A few weeks ago on the podcast that I did with my dad, I said my Super Bowl pick was Rams over Bills. At this point of the season, the Eagles just showed you how to beat this Bills offense. Obviously, this Bills defense is questionable. They give up a lot of points. It was going to have to be Josh Allen plays hero ball. This Bills offense has been figured out. The Eagles shut them down, and the Eagles aren't even a better defense than the Broncos or the Texans. So even if the Bills get past whoever their first-round opponent is, if they have to play the Broncos or the Texans in the second round, I trust the Broncos or the Texans more. This isn't about me not trusting the Bills, kind of is, but it's about me trusting the other teams in the AFC defensively more than I trust the Bills offensively this year. Starting off our contender side in the AFC, I have the Denver Broncos. You can say strength of schedule this, strength of schedule that. This defense is insane. This defense is phenomenal. This defense can suffocate any offense you throw against it, and they are going to lead this team. This team reminds me a lot of the Super Bowl 50 winning Broncos team. A phenomenal defense with a kind of good offense, with a quarterback that is very inconsistent. Late career Peyton Manning, early career Bo Nix. I do think the Broncos defense can carry them to a championship if Bo Nix plays even just a little bit more consistent than he has been playing in previous weeks. Patriots are a very odd case because obviously they haven't played the toughest of schedules and they've lost against some pretty good teams when they had to play them. But I do think come playoff time, Mike Vrabel has the experience to coach these boys up and have them ready to go. I think Drake May can play just enough hero ball with the weapons he has around him, and this defense can get enough stops where late game game, I trust the Patriots to have a game-winning drive. The Texans are getting hot at just the right time offensively because all year their defense has been top tier. The last time they lost a game was a game-winning field goal against these Denver Broncos. And I think if we got a rematch of the Broncos and the Texans in the AFC Championship, I'm picking the Texans to beat them. I think the Texans offense is more consistent than the Broncos offense is. And I think the Texans defense is just a little bit better pass rush wise, and they can get to Bo Nix and they can make his life a nightmare in an AFC Championship between these two teams. With all this being said, this is my Super Bowl matchup as of right now. As of right now, I think the Rams will play the Texans at Levi's Stadium in February. And if you want to know who I'm going to pick, the Los Angeles Rams are my Super Bowl 60 winner this year. I think they are the most complete team in the NFL, defense and offense. I think they're the most balanced team on offense. I think they can run the ball well with Corum and with Williams. They just have too many weapons. Obviously, the first time they played week 1, both these teams are very sloppy, very rusty. I think it's going to be a higher scoring game, but I just trust this Rams team and their experience more than I trust the Texans, but I think the Texans have a very good chance of winning it next year if they pick the right pieces. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, leave a like, leave a comment telling me if you disagreed with anything I said in the video. Who is your Super Bowl 60 winner? Who's your Super Bowl 60 matchup? Let me know down below in the comments, and also subscribe if you want more videos with analysis just like this in the future. See you guys next time. Goodbye.